A rat infestation and other problems at 3 Portland waterfront businesses are under control. But now the business owner is looking at damage control.
Yeah, News 13's Jana Barnella was live at the porthole, and Jana, the business is back open, so is it up to city health code standards now?
Kim, Greg, it's not perfect here at the porthole, but health inspectors say it's safe for people to eat at the restaurant. Now, safe is one thing, but public perception, that's another story. And the porthole owner tells us he's focused on getting his reputation back.
Who knows if it'll ever be able to come back to the way it is, because there are some folks out there that will just say, I'm never going there again.
That's a sentiment porthole owner Oliver Keithley is dealing with in the aftermath of health inspectors shutting his business down.
It's a tough thing.
Keithley and his staff cleaned for 2 days nonstop to fix problems pointed out by a health inspector. Problems that included rats and bugs in the building. It started with an anonymous letter complaining about the conditions at the restaurant. The inspection revealed enough to shut it down and started the 48-hour deep clean. While Keithley admits there are problems, including rats, he says the letter exaggerates the issues.
It sounded like, it was everywhere, and it is a problem, down here on the waterfront, and Command Pest Control is the company who's taking care of it, and they've been very proactive in getting stuff done.
Health inspectors say the porthole is safe to serve food again, but whether all their customers come back is still up in the air.
I loved it. It was a good, vibrant atmosphere, great social environment. I have no issues going back.
It's been like a day or two. How much change do you make on this waterfront in a few days? This thing's been there for many, many, many moons, so it'll take me a while to go back.
Keithley understands he has to do some damage control as he continues to make improvements to the building to make sure they're in line with the health code.
I'm still proud to be part of the city of Portland and working with the city of Portland. I love the waterfront, and I want to be proactive and fix everything that I possibly can to make the city happy, and also I want our customers to be happy.
Keithley says before the shutdown, before the inspection, they had already planned to do some renovations to the porthole. He says they're going to redo the kitchen in January. They're also meeting with the city health inspectors again next week to make sure they're still on track with all of the changes and that they're still up to code. Reporting live in Portland, I'm Jana Barnella for News 13. Back to you.
All right.
Thanks for the update, Jana.
Well, people are really starting to feel the impact from rising gas prices across Maine and the nation. Yeah, the average price for a gallon of gas now up almost 20 cents in just the past month. Now topping $4 a gallon in Maine. That's up 4 cents from just last week. And it's more than 30 cents higher than this time last year. Among those really feeling the pinch is the Regional Transportation Program, or RTP, a program that helps elderly and disabled people get around, and it depends on volunteer drivers. Our Steve Roldan joins us live from Portland with more on the fallout from these high gas prices, Steve.
Well, it's one of those things. You and I are impacted by these rising gas prices, as is almost everyone and everything we do. If you take a look right behind me, you can see gas prices are well over $4 a gallon here in Maine, and it's hitting everyone in the pocketbook.
I really enjoy working with people.
He's a volunteer driver with the Regional Transportation Program here in Portland. On a given day, he drives several hundred miles, giving rides to people, the disabled and low-income people. He uses his own car and gets reimbursed 41 cents a mile. The rising gas prices are hitting him in the pocketbook.
I'm putting in, when I first started, I was probably at $30 a day, roughly, because I fill up sometimes more than once a day. So it was probably $30 or $40. Now it's between $50 and $60.
The rising gas prices costing volunteer drivers more and more at the gas pump. Between fuel prices, oil changes, and regular maintenance of vehicles, out-of-pocket expenses are starting to kick in.
The gas prices are actually getting a little frightening. I'm not going to be able to do this if I spend more than I take in. I get 41 cents a mile, and if I don't at least cover costs, then I won't be able to do it.
We've heard some complaints recently from volunteers that they can't continue to serve RTP in our ridership because it's out-of-pocket expense for them and they can't afford to do so. And so this is something we face on a kind of cyclical basis, when the price of gas goes up, we lose volunteers.
Losing volunteers means losing rides and services provided by a program in the business of helping those who need transportation.
Many of our volunteers serve not only the Portland urban area, but they serve Cumberland County and the rural areas of Cumberland County. And when the number of volunteers decreases, certainly we have less opportunity to provide needed rides in the rural area.
It would make me really sad because I enjoy helping them so much, and they can't drive at all. We're sometimes the only people that they get to talk to.
Now, definitely dealing with the reality of losing those drivers. Now, one good thing going for RTP is that they say they actually locked down gas prices with a contract back in July of last year. So they're paying right now about $3.45 a gallon for gas. So that's the good news. But the bad news is they've surpassed their budget by as much as $35,000 in fuel costs just this year alone. That's the latest live here in Portland. Steve Roldan, News 13. Back to you.
Yeah, everybody feeling it, Steve. Thanks so much.
That's a great program, too. Well, it is already one of the worst years in Maine's recent history for whooping cough cases.
Yeah, more than 400 cases have been reported so far, and doctors suspect hundreds more have not been reported.
News 13's Brad Rogers joins us now with more on the whooping cough outbreak in Maine. Brad?
Well, Kim and Greg, this outbreak has landed Maine among the top 10 worst states for whooping cough. Maine families have good reason to be worried about this highly contagious bacterial infection of the lungs that causes prolonged severe coughing. Whooping cough is especially dangerous to newborns and infants. That's why parents, older siblings, and other caregivers should all be vaccinated. Cumberland, Androscoggin, Penobscot, and Somerset counties have been hardest hit. And now with school back in session, the fear is whooping cough will spread even more. So far, more grade school children are getting whooping cough than any other age groups. Doctors believe the recent outbreak is directly related to the fact that the state of Maine does not require children to be vaccinated to go to school.
It's a highly contagious illness, so people can spread it easily without knowing that that's what they've got. That's the tricky thing about whooping cough, is that it starts like any typical cold and not until a couple weeks later where that very classic whooping cough develops do you realize that this was pertussis or whooping cough, and so along the way you've probably exposed quite a few people to the illness.
Dr. Alyssa Goodwin told me there are pockets of families in Maine who refuse to vaccinate their children over fears which she says have no basis in fact. But even people who are vaccinated are not as protected as they may think. A new study has found that the whooping cough vaccine tends to wear off and become less effective as time goes on. And Kim and Greg, the CDC recommends a booster shot for anyone over age 10.
All right, good to know, Brad. Thank you.
Classes canceled at Hall Elementary School in Portland again tomorrow due to a fire that broke out there early this morning.
Investigators say they do not believe the cause is suspicious. They're pointing at some sort of electrical issue in a space between the school's roof and ceiling.
The fire crews got the call around 1:30 this morning. They found smoke and flames coming through that roof when they got there. It took about 20 minutes to put out those flames.
In perhaps 2 or 3 rooms, there are ceiling tiles that are damaged that they had to come through. What I've been told is that at least structurally, we're in pretty good shape.
Several classrooms did sustain some water damage, and we're told the smell of smoke still pretty strong in the building, so that's one reason they're going to cancel classes for tomorrow. It's unclear when those classes are going to resume. A Portland man faces charges tonight after allegedly trying to run down a trooper on the turnpike. This happened late Saturday night. Police say this man, 23-year-old Matthew Cole, tried to outrun police after a trooper attempted to pull him over for an expired registration. The officers say that Cole lost control of his vehicle, then went off the road in this area of I-95 near Scarborough. As the trooper tried to approach Cole's car, Cole allegedly began backing up towards that officer, at which point the officer shot at the vehicle. Now, Matthew Cole was not hurt. He was taken into custody. The trooper is now on paid administrative leave. That's pending an internal investigation, which is common practice anytime an officer fires his weapon.
In an effort to stop milfoil, the state is banning boats on Great Meadow Stream in the northern part of Great Pond. Motorboats, kayaks, and canoes are already banned, but duck hunters were hoping to get access to the water this fall. Scientists hope the boat ban will limit the spread of milfoil, which is Maine's most common aquatic invasive plant.
Now, your Weather Authority forecast. Well, we're going to break up the routine for you just a little bit. We've been kind of lulled into some complacency. The weekend's been beautiful, and today really sort of capped things off. What a gorgeous day it was. But we do have a mighty tempest on the way. It's going to be a fast-moving storm that brings us the necessary rainfall that we've been lacking the last couple of weeks. It's been 2 weeks for most of us since we've received any meaningful rain, and we could use some. Temperatures, as you can see, will ebb and flow over the next 7 days, turning cooler at midweek, a little recovery later down the line. Gale watch in effect along the coast. We're going to have some pretty strong winds from the southeast, averaging 15 to 30 by this time tomorrow evening as our seas begin to build, and the rain's going to break out too, certainly by this time tomorrow evening, if not just a little bit earlier in the afternoon. So the morning commute is dry, the evening commute is wet, and we're talking about visibilities of 1 to 2 miles and even lower tomorrow night because we'll have some fog involved as well. The time of high tide, a little problematic because that's when the winds are going to be strong tomorrow night. So some splash over in the usual suspect areas that are prone to flooding may have a bit of an issue. So the necessary wet weather's on the way. The gale watch in effect probably becomes a gale warning at some point tonight and tomorrow. Here's a look at our satellite radar combined. There's New England, Maine, New Hampshire, and Vermont all in all their glory. And to the west is still mostly clear in New York State, but that's the leading edge of the cloud cover. And we have 2 systems coming together. There will be a pretty potent and fast-moving storm involving tropical moisture that will really bring some rainfall rates up tomorrow night. I don't think there'll be vast flooding, but certainly some small stream and river flooding is possible, along with wet conditions for the Wednesday morning commute. Lows tonight, 54. Portland not anywhere close to freezing across the North Country. Instead, will be in the 40s. A struggle to reach 70 in Portland tomorrow because the clouds will be heavy and the rain will follow. The 2 systems that I'm talking about, one here, classic comma-shaped cloud over northeast Alabama and Mississippi. That's moving northeast with the rain already getting up into southwest Pennsylvania. Second energy now, as translated by this arc of clouds and wet weather of central Great Lakes states, will capture that, move it up and over us tomorrow and keep the process going. So that's why the storm's not going to be long lasting. And if you have golf, Thursday should be fine. Friday's looking beautiful. 52 is our nighttime low as the winds are light and variable. Storm clouds arrive tomorrow along with a soaking rain. The winds are going to be picking up too, averaging 15 to 35 miles per hour late tomorrow afternoon. Our 7-day forecast at the coast is windy and wet tomorrow night, early Wednesday. Thursday and Friday looking drier. Temperatures will be in the 60s during the day. Low 40s at the coast. We're flirting with frost again across the interior. By Friday morning, going to get chilly out there with temperatures dropping down into the 30s, and well, the weekend, that's down the line a little bit. A hint of some showers, but the main event, absolutely the wet weather that we have tomorrow night. Not going to rain in the morning, will in the afternoon. That's kind of the mantra tomorrow. Dry in the morning, wet in the afternoon. That's simple.
All right, and the stretch isn't so great though after that, it looks like, Tom.
No, turning a little bit cooler. Fall is going to be here and arriving with vengeance. Cool winter's on the way.
It's been so nice too.
All
right.
Great summer.
Sorry to see it end. All right, thanks, Tom.
Tom.